Hey, how are you? Welcome back to this Global Hand Week. Actually, I realized I posted this was the last stream, but I am a terrible liar because I just see that we have a very special event coming tomorrow before the closing ceremony, which is Community Fireside Chat from Swift. So what a great closing for the global hack week data week that we have, right? But at least it's the last one for 2 days. I know that's a very our statement on a global environment, but for me it's 10 p.m. in the night. What time is it for you? I want to know. Also, um, I am probably like already in the mood because I just wrap up the Bill with Snowflake workshop. But if you're just watching it from scratch, I'm very sorry. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Alberto Camarena. I'm your Muley Hacking coach from Mexico. And well, I am going to build a MongoDB project with you. Sorry about that. Hmm. I thought what will be fun to work with, and I realized that I haven't talked that much about um, other MCP servers during the sorry one again. Hmm. Now we are ready. Um, yeah, during the regular hackathons, the mainly hacking, we have these hacking with GitHub Copilot workshop, where we teach how to use the GitHub MCP, right? And we use it directly on Visual Studio Code, right? Um, and with that, we give also access to GitHub Copilot um, to integrate with the GitHub MCP, right? Hey Alberto, nice to see you way here. 11 p.m. there. Oh, I'll try to do this fast and so you can have some rest. 5 a.m. Nigeria time already in February 19. Oh, that's great. Samuel, I call you from Nigeria checking in. That's good. Oh, you remind me of something. Um, I didn't share this from past streams, so thank you so much, Samuel. Um, remember to check. Yeah, thank you. Oh my God, it's fine. You're an early bird. Yeah, yeah, I have to agree. Thank you so much for being here. I don't mind that much staying up late. I just feel like it's okay. But waking up in the morning, that's insane. Um, yeah, as I was saying, we teach you how to use the GitHub MCP and connect it to Dappo, sorry, to your Visual Studio Code, and then the GitHub Copilot agent can use it. Um, but now I want to teach you how to use the MongoDB MCP, right? And I think the best idea for not doing that just in like a 20 minutes workshop, uh, we can create another interesting thing, which is an agent. And on top of that, I thought, what other interesting product of MongoDB has just arisen? I don't know if you have heard of this. I'm sure of one because I already gave a session about this, which is vector search. Um, but for vector search, we need vector embeddings. So we need a a vector model or an embedding model, right? Uh, Not that much ago, MongoDB acquired a company called Voyage, which was one of the favorite and top ranked embedded models. And now they recently, with the acquisition, like things live differently. Voyage has a page that has application and everything, and now recently you can use Voyage in your MongoDB Atlas cluster and Atlas deployment, right? So I thought that it could be really fun to actually build a product with these two. So let's get started with that. First, I want to share my screen and start with Hyper. Um, no, I already have this open. Sorry, I have an already started project, but I haven't finished it. If you see here on my Copilot and we check the tools, we can see we have the GitHub MCP server from GitHub. We also have the MCP from GitKraken, and I have also activated the MongoDB MCP. I'm going to teach you how you can do it. Um, First thing, it's we can. Oh, sorry, I am going to be trying to be on top of the comments, but if I miss something, uh, I apologize. Very early. Oh, I really interested in MCPs and MLH as a whole, trying to become a fellow this summer. That's amazing. I hope you do get the fellowship, Samuel. This is exciting. Thank you, Wade. Um, oh my God, I'm locked out of my account. Restart. Okay, let's see. Sorry about that. Well, um, for some context, probably you're wondering what MCP is. And this simple term, I can tell you, it's the name. It's actually very descriptive. Model Context Protocol. It's just a protocol. It's how we make sure we can communicate the two pieces of software. Okay, this restarted. And okay, let me talk with you directly. Before the MCP, creating applications around AI for the long language models was really annoying, really painful. It was really all handmade. And for me, at least, it was kind of uh, an impacting, a shocking thing that we didn't have a protocol, right? It's like trying to communicate without Rust or without GraphQL, without without all these standardized forms of writing APIs. Well, you can think the same about NCP. It's just how we standardized how we communicate between the tools and the agents, for example, in this scenario, right? So the agent, it's just the orchestrator, if we can say it in simple terms, that receives the input, use the LLM to think about it, to process it, to plan, to loop around that plan, and then execute it. And how it executed, it's with tools. So the tool set are the MCP servers, and the MCP client, it's the agent using it, right? In this case, the MCP client that I'm going to be using, it's I forgot about this. Sorry, GitHub Copilot. In this case, Copilot is going to be our agent. That's the agent. Well, now I'm going to share the agent thingy here. Agent. We can ask, we can plan, but we can also have the agent, right? And then we're going to create ourselves the agent, right? But the first step is to connect Copilot to this MCP server. How we do that? Again, really simple. Let me restart these sections. In the extensions part, we can find the MCP servers. This is a curated list, or you can just write at MCP and look for MongoDB. This one, it's different, and I'm not sure why. I find it kind of frustrating trying to install this on the workspace on Copilot, but how I managed to install this other one, uh, it's directly from the MCP page of MongoDB. I will show you that. If we write MCP MongoDB, we can find many resources. Get started with the MongoDB MCP server, MongoDB MCP server, and in the GitHub VS Code, I will say. Uh, uh, uh. Okay, there's a list specifically for Visual Studio Code. Let's see if I can find a link for that so I can share it with you directly. Get started with the MongoDB MCP server. This is guide learn how to get started with the MongoDB MCP server, define by configuring and using it with your AI client. Prerequisites: an Atlas cluster or a self-hosted MongoDB deployment. To learn more, create a cluster, install MongoDB, blah blah blah. Edit, support MCP client, node, and configuring using a Visual Studio. Okay, this is the one I think I mean. MongoDB server in Visual in VS Code extension. The documentation was the one we came from, I think. Yeah, I think this is the one we came from. Home and get started. Yeah. Here, overview. You can configure the MCP server when you use the VS Code extension to connect to MongoDB deployment for retails or MongoDB MCP server settings. Yeah. No, this is not what we want. Start step, get MCP server config, manage the MCP server from the VS Code extension. Install. Oh, here. Code, Visual Studio. That was install Visual Studio Code. Open, Shift X, MongoDB for VS Code. Oh no, but this is another thing. Yeah, this is a completely different thing. MongoDB server. MongoDB. Okay, I'm not finding the link. I'm sorry, I didn't write it down before. Um, okay, MongoDB MCP server, GitHub. Okay. Okay, you know what? Another way to do this, and I think that will be my recommendation. It's open your MCP servers config with Shift Command P and say MCP config, and here's MCP dot open user configuration. Here you will say I have a lot of things on the inputs, but I also have MongoDB. I'm open the curly brackets, comment, and px, arguments minus y, MongoDB MCP server, and the only environment it will be your connection string. Um, Here, if I start this, it's already running. So I'm going to come to GitHub Copilot, and I'm going to say, tell me, describe me the um, database content. Oh, now this is reading about the project, but hey, it happens to all of us. Yeah, probably try with this one. I think it's the same. The args. Okay. Inspect the B. No. Yes. No, no, no. Sorry. I'm not talking about the project. I'm talking about my cluster. And the settings should come on B, configuration settings. So this is RxY MongoDB MCP server, RxY MongoDB MCP server. This one's read only. I removed that because I actually wanted to be able to modify the data here. Um, hey, Ayu, hi, nice to have you here. I just finished Gemini Rack with you before I slept, right? About 5 hours ago. Would love to connect with you on Alberto on LinkedIn. Yeah, for sure. Send me the connection. I'm Alberto Camarena. Um, Now let me run the script to inspect your database. Okay, I think this is not working. But yeah, you want to explore MongoDB Atlas Cluster, let me use the MongoDB MCP server. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Um, ooh, look, I'm going to, okay, now this exists, right? Um, what I'm going to do, It's I'm going to open myself a MongoDB here. This is my MongoDB account. Um, I'm going to build a cluster. Oh, I was locked out. Hmm. Okay, yeah, great. I'm going to use a free one, automatic load presample. I'm going to use this cluster zero. Yeah, no problem. Virginia, no problem at all. I just want a task DB, right? And I will wait this for being created. I'm going to for the project identity, no, for the database access. So there is the admin Alberto. I'm going to delete this one. Uh, I'm going to add a new one called VS MCP. For these, let's select read and write to any database, and that's at the user. And that will be it. I'm going to return to the cluster. I'm going to use the connection string here, whatever one. So I'm going to copy this uh, on the config. I'm going to change the more restart search, show configuration, show output, browse resources, show configuration with all this one. So stop. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to say more, uh, more start server. Mm. Mm. How do I change it? I can't remember now. Oh my god. Uh, here on the configs, configure model access. No, configure install share configuration. You're already here. Come on, one, two, more. Show output. No, more. Configure access model. Rows resources. Config. Here. The book. Server configuration. Telemetry. Now, I want to change my Mongo connection string. Maybe need a new connection string. Oh, you think about me. Uh, yes, I want you to update it on the MCP.json. Here, password doesn't matter. I will change it later. Here, and the DB name. Uh, how do I call it? BSMCP. So we have that there. Yo, no, this is not what I wanted. And actually, that won't change anything. Neither like connection string. Okay, let's do this all together. Yeah, why not? Uh, I'm going to uninstall this. Yes. So here you don't have access to the MCP anymore. That's great. Um, so I'm going to refresh, install, view. Well, let's close this. Hyper code developer with a majorly hacking MLH full hack week, and this is Mongo MCP. Under here, okay, now this is not install, this is MongoDB install. Okay, Atlas API client for authentication required for running Atlas 2. Uh-huh. MongoDB connection string. 10 milliseconds. 10 milliseconds. Went through HTTP trans blah 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 blah. Okay, this one's asking too much things. I'm not sure. Do I have that now? Okay. If I check the tools, okay, okay. Yeah, this is different. It's definitely not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. This is another thing. Uh, but let's see if it works. By now, this far, the cluster should be already running. If we browse the collections, you'll have something called the data sample and flicks sample and flicks. That's great. So, hey, can you help me understand this schema of my DB sample amplix? It's this one, sample amplix. We see Copilot's running, and it's tell us run the list collections for yeah blah 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 database, and output says you need to connect to an MongoDB instance before you can access its data. Please use one of the following tools: Atlas Connect. I need to connect to your MongoDB instance before I can inspect. Sample, would you like me to connect using same connection strings you add to MCP JSON? Okay, I don't know. Let's see. Args. You see, like args are a lot more now. Um, I don't even see that anymore, so I will say yes. Just yes. Um, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I'm not finding the other one. Okay, this is the one we're using, and this one It's not that. It's interesting to have that. Cloud desktop cursor, connection string. This is the only thing I was using. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Uh, yes, use the string. What? Is that was that hard? Okay, let's see if you were able to do it. Okay, I need to clean the context window. You're doing a lot of things. I just want. Okay, here's a schema overview of sample amplexes and a sample of documents in this collection. We have six collections. Let's verify if that's true. Don't we? Okay. Sample amplix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's great. 6,700 segments, average segment indexes. Mm, These are eight, and yeah. Oh, this is amazing. And now we have that ability to inspect and interact with our data living in MongoDB. This could be an Atlas deployment, our local host deployment, Docker one. It doesn't matter. You only need your connection string from the cluster you want to inspect. You set it up here. Um, you just need to type and look for the MongoDB um, MCP server, and that's it. Now you can interact with your data. Again, a recommendation: if you want to be able to delete the data that's actually in the database, modify it. Uh, Delete this read only flag. That's that's the thing. Yeah. Well, that was the first part. How to connect MongoDB MCP server with your agent Copilot. It took us a little more than what I expected, but the next part will be to build. Let me close all of this. TypeScript agent type combines MongoDB Atlas vector search with Voyage AI embeddings. the MCP server and Google Gemini as the LLM to answer natural query language questions about the base knowledge of the database using vector search, and that can also inspect Atlas infrastructure via MCP tools. And for that, I think we can make use of some other resources I have here. Yep. Uh-huh. So what resources? I can close the MCPs. This one's not the one we wanted. This one's also ready to be closed. We already have that. Get started with MongoDB. We can have that open. This one we can close. Yeah, yeah, we can close this one. The repo, we can get this open. This one we can close. Voyage. So Voyage, yeah, quick start. The embedding and ranking API, it's in preview. The feature that corresponds to condition might change, right? Um, in this guide, you'll learn how to generate first vector embeddings with Voyage AI and build a basic application. So let's start with the first things. Sign up for a free Atlas account or login thing. If you're new, you can create your Atlas account very simple. Create the model API key from the project. This one's also really simple. If I come here and in the services, we have the AI model. This we ask AI one. Well, I'm going to try to hide this a little more. Um, but here I have my secret, right? And what's with that? I'm going to export that to my system variables because I'm going to run this on the CLI. Uh, so let's open Hyper, and I'm going to say export Voyage AI, and okay, well, um, yeah, I'm going to delete that later. So I will say this should be a problem. Um, this here, here, and I have write that down on the end. This is the Voyage AI key. So great. And here we are going to generate our first embedding. So we are going to do it with Python. No, we are going to do it with JavaScript. Um, let's take a look to the full AI specification. We're going to do it with curl. The problem is that we have two ways of doing it with um, a fetch based or with Python. The only driver now existing is Python, but I refuse to always do Python, so I'm going to use JavaScript for that. Um, there's actually a page for that. Here's not API and clients. I think here accessing Voyage models API with curl with TypeScript. So let's copy this one. I'm going to open a new folder here, not here, here. That's going to be tests, or yeah, tests. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call that file generate embeddings.ts. Oh, generate embeddings.ts, and basically just this thing just has to access this one, curl to AI MongoDB BL warnings. The API key, we can insert that directly. And then we load the tests generate embeddings. To see what's happening here, we add some headers, authorization, the bearer token, it's the API key, it's application JSON, the data we're passing, it's the input. MongoDB, it's defined what database it's in the AI era, but actually embeddings and re-ranker models at the state of the art. The model we're using it's for large. And when we call this, nothing's happening actually. We can change that. Uh, uh, um, Similar things happening here with Python. Instead of this, actually it's a library, a client. So we can run the client. We have BO and BIV. We pass the text and the model. It's very similar here. The data, it's the input and the model. Um, what happens if we select Python here? Um, the data stays the same, so no problem with that. Run the script, and if we want to do just the curl, okay, let's just test it on the curl and change the API key for exactly what it is. Oh, but we have that. And this is our embedding. Yeah, for sure. This is working now. Uh, why does it look like this? This is a vector. How length? What's the length of this? Well, actually, we need to uh, store it in a variable. Um, it has the object embedding, and the embedding array. It has two. What does that mean? I'm not sure. um, so these are two embeddings. Result, comma, and the um, embeddings length. Let's see again. 124 elements in the array. So this works. That's something that's great to have. expressions only allow it to level of the file when the file hits the model, but this file has no inputs nor consider items on export. But there's not. Okay, this is really weird. Actually, the suggestion from DS. Uh, but yeah, a problem there. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to make this bigger for you to see better. If you have any complication at some point, just let me know. We can close this and we ask this quick start. Tell us building a basic React application will require LLM provider, blah blah blah. But this is not what we want. We now want something more. We now want Quickstar, API and clients, models, tutorials, create text embedded. We want to create now agents. So that relates directly to vector search, right? Agents. Build AI agents with MongoDB. MongoDB provides several features for building AI agents, both as vector and document database. MongoDB supports various searches methods for agentic RAG as well as string and agentic interactions in the same database for short and long-term memory. And that's the main purposes here, right? So create tools using MongoDB features with vector search, full text search, hybrid search, and other query tools. And this is where we're going to use the MCP. If we come back and we check the support tools, we can see we have pre-built the MongoDB Atlas tools like connect to a cluster, create a free cluster, create a project, list alerts, list DB users, and the MongoDB database tools like an aggregation, do a connection, drop, explain, export, find, insert, update, blah, 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 right? So that's the intention here, and make use of that as well with along the vector search, full text search, hybrid search, and other query options. Um, the memory, basically, we have the agents stored as short term and long term. Again, pretty self-explanatory, but we can deep dive when we see that in code. The AI agent, it's again nothing too complicated, just basically a loop, while loop. No, nothing too much fancy like line graph or langchain. And the planning part, it's going to be Gemini, right? The action part, it's tool sets we are going to create. So perception, your input for the agent. Again, these four, I will say it's the minimum for being considered an agent: perception, planning, tooling, and the part of the memory, of course. Um, so for the tool, I really recommend this page to understand better about the concept, because not only teaches you about the how to build it, but the actually, how to say that, yeah, the concepts behind it, what a tool is, how you can build it, blah blah blah. We have tool definitions and tool calls, right? The memory is okay. We can explain this here. Like for agents, involves storing information about previous interactions, so the agent can learn from past experience and provides a relevant and personalized response. This is particularly important for tasks that require context. The short-term memory stores information for the current session, and the long-term memory persists information across many sessions, right? uh, that will be it. Can we make this heavy and robust iteration in an hour and 2 hours? That answer is no. But we have some preview code, and we can start with that. Since MongoDB is also a document base, you can implement memory for agents by storing its interaction in another MongoDB collection. Um, so that the agent can update its collection as needed. For example, short-term memory should look like this: at session ID, the user it belongs, the interaction, what it was, like role, the user, content, what is MongoDB, and the timestamp. Role, assistant, content, MongoDB is the world-leading modern database. So the short-term memory context tells us this question was asked, right? And for long-term, we set like the same and user ID last updated, and the preferences, for example, to say, okay, the instruction of the user was keep conversation tone casual. I prefer constant answers. Some facts, some interests. I like MongoDB and AI. Again, for the moment, we're not using line chain on anything. So one of the following types of cluster, and MongoDB Atlas cluster. That's correct. Voyage AI AP key and OpenAI AP key, or in this case, we're using Gemini. So no problem with that. Procedure: this agent can be used to answer questions about a custom data source and perform calculations. You should see something like this: the amp, the config, the ingest data. Tools suggest memory planning and index. So let's start with the configuration of the amp. This should contain the MongoDB URI, Voyage APK, and OpenAI APK. So let's see what we have. On the example, we have the URI, DB name, Voyage, the model, APK, Gemini model as well, and vector index. So for my personal one, uh, let's do the same because this was not updated. I'm going to change the URI, the DB name. It's going to be Flix sample Flix, or what was it called? Sample mflix. You're here once again. What do you mean? Do I lose my connection? Oh, I'm not sure. The Voyage model, let's use the same we used before. That was okay. Great question about the Voyage quick start for large. Okay, let's see. Text embeddings, conceptualized chunk embeddings, multimodal embeddings, rankers, multimodal text. Let's use this one. Generate embedding. Okay, we're using the voyage for large, so let's keep it that way. And the env voyage for large. We can delete now the tests. The Gemini API key. I'm going to create one for this session. Um, well, let's take advantage and do it all together. If you go to mlh.link slash Gemini, oh my god, mlh.link slash Gemini, and we said, let's do it in Gemini. I'm going to use one from the Middle East. I'm going to get an IP key, create IP key, create project. I'm going to call this global quick share project. Create it. Okay. Oh, quick share created. Cloud console. Okay, now that we have agreed that, can we create project? No? Interesting. So you may not have permission to create projects in this organization. Okay. So can I create the organization? Hmm. Okay. Else, else. What can I do? Let's see if mine can handle one. And the playground. Feature one flash ladies. Mhm. Vector search with automated embeddings in Atlas. Mhm. So here for the so M3 clusters have a limit of 3 search and vector search users per cluster. Uh, one of three. This is ready. Collection movies. Okay. Okay. Then I need the data explorer. I need to connect to this one. Sample flicks embedded movies here. Indexes. Embedded movies. So create search. Vector search. Embedded movies. Yeah. Index name. I'm going to call this plot embedded voyage tree large. Database and collection. Plot embedding. I'm going to call it. What should I use for semantic search and AI applications? Great. Next. Yeah, the embedding and rerun APIs in preview, blah blah blah. Find similar documents. Okay, for example, for the rat, I want another one. Come on. I want to check here. This is Atlas Cloud embeddings. Oh, here they are using the same sauce. Probably means they've been in your class session before. Oh, yeah, sorry, I was confused. Yeah, I remember you, social media. That's great to see you again. Um, right now, we're configuring our vector search for MongoDB. Um, do you remember we did very similar on Snowflake, but here we need the visual. Okay, here here we are. This is what I wanted. The picture field. Atlas automatically detects fields that contain vector embeddings as well as their corresponding dimensions. For example, this collection and the plot embeddings displays select dot product, similarity method dot products, and this cosine for the voyage. Mhm. That product is the same. 248. Yeah. Well, for these two plot embeddings and plot embeddings we are large, these are going to be the product, the similarity method, the dimensionality we're out to recognize, uh, filter field. We're not going to add this, and we select next. These two vector fields, create the search index, and this needs to be generated. And now we have two, one for the movies, but this is the search, and this one's vector search. Great. And we're missing vector search index name. Vector search index name. It's plot embedding. Vector path. Same. No limit. Oh yeah, file limit. How many candidates? Let's give it the hardware agent user. Okay, it's done. So I need to project identity and access. I need to add this. Add a new one. I'm going to call you um, agent. And your building role, it's going to be read and write. Now for the cluster, we're just going to connect, use this thing here. Agent. It's done. It's done. It's done. I know what the URI is. The MongoDB name is. And the config. The Yaki. The Buyash model. Gemini model. This I understand what they are for, but this one I don't remember. Uh, it's not used. Okay. Mm, it's not used. Yeah, it's used. I get it. I get it. Okay. Uh-huh. Finally, I will do a change that is. I think that the current way to connect to the MongoDB MCP is via the Atlas API client ID and secret. Use the same URI. Use the existing URI instead. Correct all code base. Great, let's see. First on the amps, this is cool, this is cool. Then when describing the API client credentials, blah blah blah, let's keep it that way. No need to Atlas client or Atlas client secret. Okay. Hmm. On the amp, Okay, yes, but where you're using the URI to connect to the MCP. I think that's missing too. Oh, I was missing this part. No, const alt connection string. Oh, here it is. Yeah, yeah, I was missing that part. But shouldn't that be under the M's? Not sure, just asking. Um, yeah. Okay, now let's see how does the preview look like. MongoDB, exactly that. Biash, why does it say it's optional? Okay, quick store and install. Sure, it works. Oh my god, I need to sneeze. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, yeah, we have our env config ready. We have vector search and atlas that's ready too. Uh, initialize database. This creates a digital index for H in memory episodic, blah blah blah. Okay, this it's deprecated. We are actually not using it. Okay, now since you already have access to my DB, you know that we don't need to initialize the database. Oh yeah, no, forget it. Actually, this is true. Sorry, I was thinking about other things. This creates a TTL index for agent memory episode. Yeah, yeah, makes complete sense. Let's take a look to that. Setup. Setup runs the exact source setup. Setup, what it does is that get the DB, close the DB from DB.dgs. DBGS just gets the Mongo client and the DB from MongoDB. It gets the config, get the DB if the database is already created instance, it returns the database. Else, it creates a new instance for the connection URI and await for the connection. Then it closes it. So the setup creates the agent memory collection, creates the index for that, expires after seconds, partial filter expression, and yeah, that's what it does. So under the package, sorry, under the README, we initialize the database. That makes sense? Makes sense? npm run setup. Setup complete. And if we go to our cluster and we refresh our data, we have now the agent memory. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 1, 6 we have, and the seventh collection it's empty, but it has initialized the memory. It also has a built-in index for the created ads. Um, yeah, that's great. Uh, um, then seed sample documents. This is optional. If we take a look to this seed the TS, sync, blah blah blah, knowledge base, title, and running. Okay, that's why that's optional. Um, Let me run the agent npm run that. Let's see. Okay, now uh, what's the best ranked movie? Failed to embed with Voyage. Okay, that's interesting. Failing back to dex search error. Voyage client's not a function. Okay, let's see. Why we use Voyage client and Voyage to yes. Okay. I don't have the necessary information or context to determine the best ranked movie. Okay. Thank you for your answer, good sir. Let's pause this error to Capella to help us reduce it. Let me see, for example, on my cluster here for my AP key, what's the billing view spend? Wait, so this should work. The usage, it was called today, so everything looks good there. Um, let's return. Keep, keep. Okay, that was my bad actually. I think this might be an error because we actually is not a no, yes, it's not a npm package for for okay, how I can tell it. I think this might be an error since according to Atlas docs or Mongo docs, Mongo Atlas docs. Um, the only way to communicate with Voyage from Atlas is a fetch, like, and we did that fetch. Mhm. Are we using this anywhere? Nope. So make the right hat just links on the code base. React API key, React model, text. Yeah, great. Well, I get what the sample one. Okay. Uh, mm, okay, great. Uh, we were here on the run dev. npm run dev. Give me to pass the spookiest, no, the, I don't know, best animated movie. I cannot determine the best animated movie without further criteria or context. Come on. um, can you list the number? Can you tell me the number of movies? Let's see if we can get this ourselves. Movies should be around 21,000. This one's thinking. Come on, you can do it. Oof, I should add a thinking spinner or something like that. Mm, mm. Oh my god, a mosquito. But hey, this should be using MCP server, and if this completes its output, I'll be really happy with the result. I don't have access to the database to provide a number of movies. Okay, maybe we are failing in the MCP client. Yeah, it should be failing around here. Okay, one thing I want to check now is about the agent memory. We still don't have documents. That's interesting. Um, let's see. Yes, refresh, refresh. No documents yet. Yeah. Okay. Well. Um. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. I already show you how you can build the integration. Only things missing is to debug it a little and trying to connect wires. Think of polishing the agent itself, but we already have some decent, a pretty decent begin. Um, the bias configuration here, I think it's well. The vector search one, I think it does do its work correctly. The setup for the agent memory, again, the seed doesn't make that much sense if you're using Atlas, but hey, I will leave it here if in case you're just using like um, yeah, a local connection, so you can write a seed script here, personalize it. The memory one should be working, but it's not. I just realized it here, but it's a work in progress. The MCP client, it is not working actually. The idea of connecting here, it's not being helpful. So I'm going to debug this a little more. But hey, we managed to connect with the MC client on Copilot. The index is really straightforward, just setting up the database connection. It's here. The config file, just manage the M file. Uh, Here, so CLI nodes. For the script. It starts when you run the application. Here, tip run anywhere with no. Um, well, I don't see them, but they should be here. And finally, the agent, how this is orchestrated. Again, it's still a work in progress, but we 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 have pretty nice kickstart here. And the idea I want you to keep on from this session, it's mainly this architecture, the one here. Huh. The agent has memory, has a planning part, and has an action. The perception itself, it's just the input. I think a lot of them starts with that. The planning part, it was uh, developed not that much ago, but definitely the action, taking action, and the loop around it, the autonomicity, it's what you define as an agent. I'm going to keep going further on the agent world, and I'm going to do more series on future global hack weeks. So stay tuned to that. I hope you learned something about this session, and thank you so much for the ones who were attending. So it was my pleasure to be with you, and well, that will be it. Remember to stay tuned for the last stream from Swift, and then the closing ceremony. I hope you enjoyed this Global Hack Week, the Data Week, and well, I will see you on the next one, which is, let's discover it, um, Cloud One on March 13 to 19. So coming up. Also, we have API one on April. So a lot of things to develop around that. That can be really really funny. So good to see you all, and happy hacking.